Alright, this is Daniel Dwyer with Christopher Thurley's English 242 British Literature, and this is the roundtable assignment. I did my final paper on George Orwell's Shooting an Elephant, and I would like to highlight a couple of things. One is George Orwell's always been a master of using symbolism in regards to animals. He uses them a lot in all of his stories, including like this one, Shooting an Elephant and Animal Farm. I'd also like to note the amount of symbolism that is in this regarding almost everything in the story. George Orwell, well, not George Orwell himself, but the narrator is a symbol of power in which he's a police officer. He's supposed to hold power in the story. But later on we find out that he doesn't. In fact, it is the people that hold the power towards the end whenever he has to decide whether or not to shoot the elephant. He even says himself that he is an absurd puppet, with all those yellow faces sitting behind me, meaning that he's at the mercy of the crowd, since they are really the ones that decide the shot anyways. Also, there's a symbolism that ties the elephant to colonialism and itself. Colonialism is, in this story, is where Britain takes over and takes control of Burma, enforcing and putting its laws and ways, ethics, beliefs into this country. And in that way, it's ignorant because they think that they're doing something great. They're helping out a country, advancing their technology and things, but instead they're disrupting their culture, causing chaos, oppression, death, destruction. And in the same way, the elephant, in its ignorance of its actions, goes about rampaging, destroying people's huts, killing a man, causing a ruckus. People are fleeing, running, things like that. Also, the abuse of power is in here regarding Britain and its colonialism over Burma, and sort of a power conflict also symbolizes within the narrator himself. Whenever he's towards the end of the story, which I highlighted earlier about the crowd really deciding if the elephant lived or died, even though he knew that he shouldn't shoot it, but he knew that it was expected of him because he would rather have the favor of the people because he was tired of being mistreated, which also introduces the moral and ethical symbolism and theme in this story about the narrator being an Englishman from Britain, but there to serve as a police officer, and he cannot disregard his roots, where he came from, which being Britain, but also he cannot stand with them in the oppression that they are causing upon these people, on the natives of Burma. Therefore, he is sort of duplistic in his thinking throughout this entire story, and that creates a lot of issues with the themes of moral conflict and ethical decisions within himself, because he never knows what to do. He's always making decisions based on what he thinks is better for gaining favor of the people. And then the new perspective I took that we were supposed to in this paper was to create our own new look at the work, and I did that through looking at it from the perspective of the elephant. I sort of highlighted this before, but through my readings and research of the story, they all look at the elephant from the outside and looking at him as a symbol and things, but I took a sort of approach of putting our perspective in the elephant, one that shows just how ignorant colonialism is, and that the elephant thought that he was going around being free because he had the power to, doing what he wanted to, thinking that it was good, it was okay. In the same way colonialism did that in their ignorance, went about colonizing Burma and a couple other countries from history. And in the same way that the elephant goes about destroying people's lives in huts and killing a villager, colonialism did the same exact thing in the way that they exploited the people, which normally includes making them slaves and doing work for them, and also slavery, racism, oppression, and the fact that they think that they are implementing change and good things into another country by enforcing their ways. In fact, instead just caused chaos and oppression and hatred toward the country. That was my new perspective of the paper. I had a lot of fun this semester. A lot of new things learned, new perspectives, way to look at literature and poetry. Thanks for the great semester, and thank you.